Hello, I'm Stephen Davis, and you're about to explore the wonderful world of theatrical makeup. Today, our makeup focus is animals. I'm going to be using a slightly different type of makeup today. I'm going to be using, actually, the Ben Nye Aquacolor makeup. And this is a water-based makeup. It comes in a variety of colors, and so I'm going to be using the variety of these colors to be working with animals. The nice thing about water-based makeup is soap and water cleanup. There are a few things that you need to note about aquacolors, is that some of them, when you use them on the skin, might leave a little bit of pigmentation on the skin, and so when you're cleaning up, you really want to allow the cleanser to do the work for you. For aquacolor paint, it's soap and water cleanup. You can use a product called Hydro Cleanse to clean up. That is a water makeup remover, water-based makeup remover. But for the most part, soap and water is all you need. These are great when you're looking for quick makeups, face painting, different things like that. And they really are a wonderful thing to add to your toolkit. So we're going to be starting and looking at cats. Now, cats, when you want to think about cats, the first thing that you often think about is the area of the eyes of the cat, and the area off of the nose and the slit that comes down the lips and then becomes part of the cheek area of the cat. So when you look at samples, and with all animals, you're wanting to look at cartoon drawings of these animals. So by looking at cartoon drawings, you're going to see the simplification of the line of what is the prominent aspect of the animal. So when we look at different images of cartoons of cats, we can see the prominent eyes, the nose-mouth relationship, and the area that comes off of the nostrils and connects directly with the eyes. Whenever you're doing animals, it's always good. Find an image of a cartoon of that animal, and then morgue research images of that animal. And then by looking at both of them, you're going to be able to see how you can change the lines of a human face to become those lines of an animal. So we're going to start right now. We're going to look at a cat, and we're going to start making this application happen. In using aquacolor paint, you always want to start with the lightest color first, and then layer your application going from light to dark. So you really want to look at the tones in the face of the animal, and then you're going to be applying it from the lightest area on the face and going towards the darker area. For this application, I am going to be using a Hydra sponge. This is a water-based sponge that I'll be using for the application. If you want to and you have more time, you can start using brushes to do brush strokes for the fur of the animal. We're going to get started. I'm going to start with the white. So I take my aquacolor, I go into my sponge, and I just work it into the color of the palette on the sponge. And now I'm going to start working into those areas of the face that will be white underneath the area. So I come in here into the cheek area of the cat. If I want this to be more opaque, there's an additive that can be used called Liquisat. But for this application, I'm just going to be using water. Okay, so I've gone in and I've applied the white aquacolor paint onto my face. And now we're going to be looking at when you look at the different hues and colors in the fur of the animal that you're doing. And so I'm looking at this, and I'm going to be using a different sponge at this point that I place into the water. And I go to my next lightest color. After placing the yellow tones on the face, now I'm going to go to orange. Again, going from lightest to darkest. Next color that I'm going to be using is brown. And as I'm using the sponge, I'm actually looking to make some of the texture of the fur on the makeup application that I'm doing, so that I'm using this to help promote some of the fur application that I'm seeing. Now, the reality is this is not going to be just perfect to what I have in terms of the image, but it's going to help layer it. It's going to help to make the suggestion and transform the human face into that of an animal. I'm paying attention when I'm painting this. I'm creating the bone structure, creating the bone structure of the cat as I'm going through this application. Okay, and so for the most part at this point I've worked in a lot of the base colors that I want here, and now I can go in with some of the fine detail. I can come in with my brush, and I can go back in and I can start working with the brush to make and create a little bit more of the finer strokes of fur by going in and coming in and reinforcing some of these colors, going in with this and just little, I always like to make that sound, little, because it just makes it, it's like Bob Ross, it just makes you happy. Keeping the integrity of your brush. You want to maintain that integrity so that it's still flat and you have that really precise edge. You don't want it clumped, because that is how you're going to be able to get a lot more control. Now, something I'm going to show you, a little pro tip here. When you're painting on, I'm right-handed, so when I'm painting on the right side of my face, I'm getting really good control. When I go over to the left, I can get a lot of fatigue, and so what I do is I just grab my arm and I hold it into my chest. By holding it in, it gives me some much more stability for the brush as I'm working. Hold that in, that'll keep it in place, and I can come in here with much more precision. I'm going in with my yellow now, just a little fine details, getting a little bit more of the sense of the fur. What I'm doing right now is I'm starting to establish that area between the nostril that goes up straight into the eye, and widening the nose a little bit, creating the appearance of the widening of the nose that happens with the cat. Now I'm doing this before I'm going in with my black, just to create a little bit more of that bone structure that I want to see, that's part of the facial structure of the cat. So now I've got kind of the base set up in terms of the different colorations that I'm looking for, and now I'm going to start adding the black in. And at this point, you know, I'm going for a larger cat, and there's a couple of things that I can do here to determine which type of cat. So we're going to start off with one type of cat, and then we're going to adjust it to another. The one thing that we want to do is that, just like in the human race, among animals, what you do with the nose often determines the age of the animal. So at this point in time, if I want to start with a younger cat, what I can do is I can actually paint the nose pink, and that kind of youthful quality that comes into that pink area on the nose itself will create a kind of youthful appearance for the animal. Now I come in, going with my black, line the top edge of that pink nose, create the slit down to the mouth. And I can encourage this a little bit more by expanding it into the plane of the face. Just a little bit more of the slit, which will just encourage the eye out a little bit and widen that nose. Now this is where I'm taking the mouth, the lip work that I'm doing, and I'm expanding it out. I'm expanding the mouth out. Now I'm going to start working on the eyes. As we pointed out, the eyes are a dominant feature of a cat. So really overpainting them, getting that cat eye look that is the expansion of the area, kind of filling in that tear duct, pulling that down a little bit, expanding it up below the supercilial arch. And then we can come and go in and do some more fur work. We can come in and we can look at, depending upon our morgue research, going in and doing some fine work with the brush. And just like a human face is not symmetrical, neither is a cat's. This is where, depending upon the cat, what lines you do on the face can change, it can develop, it can shift. So what I'm doing right now is kind of more like a lion, but there are other colorations right now that are lending itself to what adjustment I'm going to make now. So I'm going to actually make an adjustment to make part of my face a cheetah. And so we see with the shift of the face and the line, working with different morgue research and working with different things, we can change the way that the face is. The pink nose is giving that sense of that quality of youth. There's other things that we can do to make this accent a bit more. This is oftentimes when I like to go back in with a cream-based makeup to make the black area pop a little bit more and go in over top of the makeup with a little bit of cream. I find that I can get some fine details a little bit more with the cream-based makeup on top of the aqua color. You can put cream on top of aqua color. It's difficult to put aqua color on top of cream unless you're using like Final Seal, an alcohol-based sealer on top of it. And then the rest of this is just fine-tuning, making adjustments, doing things that you need to do to help this to become the cat that you're looking for. Could have just eaten, maybe a little bit of blood coming off the side of the mouth, different things that you can do, but this is the fun part of animal application.